Hi there, just to follow up on my first video about my septoplasty, the first septoplasty which took place in September 2018. I then complained about that surgery. It was absolutely obvious immediately afterwards that something had gone very wrong. Even the look of the nose was very, very misshapen. Continuous bleeding. It was as if it was just, the nostril was just flat against the nose. There was a lot of scarring I felt inside, and it was just, I couldn't breathe through it very well. I went back to the department on a few occasions, and even on that first follow-up appointment, which I had to insist on because they weren't going to see me again. The surgeon did agree, and this time the head of department, who I insisted on seeing, did agree that I should have some revision. That revision was done within 6 months of the first surgery. I am very aware that in a lot of the articles I've read, ENT surgeons do not recommend having any type of surgery within a year of having the first one. I believe that my nose was so badly misshapen and really off kilter that we had to agree to do something, because I couldn't be left like that. I went in March 2019 to have the follow-up. Very apprehensive, obviously. I believe the surgeon who operated on me, and yet again I checked it was going to be the head of department, I believe he did his best to correct it. He certainly did a totally different type of incision than the first surgeon. He did a very small incision just inside the nostril on the septum side, which healed in an amazing amount of time, considering that I only had experience of the first surgery. The first surgery took ages, months. This healed in easily about 6 weeks. But unfortunately, he wasn't able to correct everything. In the meantime, between the first surgery and the revision, I went to the hospital photographer, and she took numerous external pictures of what my nose looked like. I personally would have preferred somebody to actually be examining what the inside was like, because this is an NHS procedure for therapeutic reasons. It's not an aesthetic operation. So consequently, all I had, all the surgeon had when I went into that surgery were external pictures. I then, as I say, took a very short time to recover. Yes, he'd managed to adjust it a bit, and so I had more skin this side to cover the septum. That's it as it is now. This goes a long way up here, and this is just like a normal nostril. I have still a lot of problems. I have a lot of problems with intake of air. At night, I have serious insomnia problems. For some reason, I can only go to sleep for about 2 hours at a time, due to the fact that I wake up and feel as if I'm suffocating after 2 hours. Despite the fact that he has stopped a lot of the bleeding that was happening from the first op, there is a scab that forms at the top of my nose still, that I have to dislodge with saline I have to squirt a saline solution up there in the mornings, but that has very little effect on it. It's constantly clogged, that side. I have no idea why. It's just very, very difficult to breathe, and I have compared to being able to be on a treadmill at the gym and being able to breathe through my nose before all this, I can now no longer do that, as I have to mouth breathe because one nostril is fully functioning, but the other nostril is about 25% at best on a good day compared to the other one. So I can't fill my lungs with air just through my nose, which is very frustrating. Also, it just doesn't look even. And when you have a look at the CT scans, you can see exactly why it doesn't look even externally, because it certainly isn't internally. The bit that's created up here causes a drippy nose, like an very elderly person's drippy nose. Reasons why elderly people get that drippy nose is different. It's because something called the turbinates have just atrophied. They've just got smaller, and it just happens in a general way. With me, I can't believe it's the turbinates, but this drippy nose just comes from the front. And I'm absolutely, every morning I get up, that will start, that side, and then it's already clogged up. And it's just very difficult to deal with. I believe that there's many more people who have this type of reaction to the surgery. And if more people wrote articles about it, surgeons are much too enthusiastic to promote a septoplasty in every situation. I've seen the other videos, and I've seen some people who've had, are very happy with their septoplasty surgery, and it looks very good. But unfortunately, they should warn you a lot more of the consequences before you have that operation. You're made to believe it's just a routine operation. It isn't. Every operation is serious and needs a lot of consideration. They should tell you there is a fact whereby breathing may be worse than it was before. And from the ENT UK leaflet, it just doesn't explain the various hazards that you might experience. I am going to see him again very soon. I'm also seeking a second opinion, and I will try and keep these videos updated.